This video is continuing from the last video. So this one, we're gonna talk about trig integral. A. So if you have a cube, then you split into sine square and sine x. So sine square x, sine x, and dx. Now use a u substitution. Before you use a u substitution, we know that sine square x plus cosine square x equals 1. That's the identity. So you need to substitute. Instead of sine square, 1 minus cosine square. 1 minus cosine square x and sine x dx. So we know if we cosine is u and this portion is a du, right? So then you can do now u is cosine x, so du is negative sine x dx. So that becomes 1 minus u square, and sine x dx is a negative du, so negative you can take it out, du. So that becomes negative u plus 1/3 u cubed plus c using power rule. Now substitute back, negative cosine x plus 1/3 cosine x cubed plus c will be a fine answer. Okay. All right, let's do B. So best way to study this one, make sure you pause the video and then do it on your own and compare your answer. Okay. So B, integral sine cube x cosine square x. So make sure you change it always the odd power one. Okay. So then odd power this one, integral sine square x cosine square x times sine x dx. You change it like that. Okay. So I'm gonna use later on u is cosine x, and this one will be du. Okay, that's my plan. But then in order to do u sub, I have to change this one also using that identity here. So 1 minus cosine square x and cosine square x and sine x dx. Okay, so now distribute cosine square x minus cosine to the fourth power x and then sine x dx. Okay, that's how I got it. Now I'm gonna use a u sub, so u equal cosine x. So then du equals negative sine x dx. So this one becomes integral u square minus u to the fourth power, and then sine x dx will be negative du. So negative du. So now use a power rule. Negative 1/3 u cubed plus 1/5 u to the fifth power plus c. Now last step, you substitute back your u. U was a cosine x cubed plus 1/5 cosine x to the fifth power plus c. So that will be your final answer. Okay, so that was a B. Now next one, C. Okay, integral sine square x cosine fourth power x dx. What if we have both of them even power? So I'm gonna use a power reducing formula. What is a power reducing formula? Sine square x equals 1 minus cosine 2x over 2. And then I was to memorize this one too. Cosine square x, okay, 1 plus cosine 2x 2. The reason why is a power reducing, it used to be second power but just first power. So we call power reducing formula, or you can say half angle formula. Same thing. So this one, I can say then sine square x, cosine square x, cosine square x dx. That's the first step. Now I'm going to apply that power reducing formula. So 1 minus cosine 2x over 2 times 1 plus cosine 2x over 2 times 1 plus cosine 2x over 2 and dx. So 2 times 2 times 2, 8. 1 over 8, you can take it out. And this one, when you fold it out, that's 1 minus cosine square 2x. Okay? And then you have a 1 plus cosine 2x, one more, dx. Now, next step, you can separate it. You can multiply, you can fold it out one more time. So let's do that. Then 1, and then this one plus cosine 2x minus cosine square 2x minus cosine cube 2x and dx. Okay, I fold it out. Now, first one just 1 over 8. And then this one, if you use also chain rule backward, then you're gonna say 1 over 16 because 8 times 2 is a 16, and then sine 2x. Okay. If you're not getting it this one here, then you can use a u sub here again one more time. But that's pretty simple. So I just you can do it in your head. So derivative sine is a cosine 2x times 2. So it'll come back to 1 over 8 cosine 2x. Okay. So antiderivative of 1/8 cosine 2x is a 1/16 sine 2x. Now, minus 1 over 8. This one, cosine square 2x, I can use a power reducing formula one more time. So 1 plus cosine now 4x. Okay. Double of that angle will be 4x over 2 dx, and minus 1 over 8. The cosine cube 2x you can change into cosine square 2x times cosine 2x dx. Okay. Now, so next step. But before we do, I'm gonna do only this one first here, right here. So that portion, integral 1 minus sine square 2x, okay, using that identity, and then cosine 2x dx. So let's say u equals sine 2x, okay, so then it will be 1 minus, so du equals 2 cosine 2x dx, right? Then this one 1 minus u square. Cosine 2x dx is 1/2 du, like that. So then it will be 1/2 u minus integral u square is 1/3. So 1/3 times 1/2 is 1 over 6 u cube. Okay. Now you put it back. Your u was at sine 2x, so 1/2 sine 2x minus 1 over 6 sine 2x cube. Okay, so I'm gonna substitute now. So I'm gonna write from here 1 over 8 plus 1 over 16 sine 2x. Now this portion here minus 1 over 16 1 plus cosine 4x dx. Okay, and then minus 1 over 8. So that underline one here, replace with that 1/2 sine 2x minus 1 over 6 sine 2x but cube. Okay, make sure you put plus c because that's indefinite integral. Now, almost done. 1 over 8 plus 1 over 16 sine 2x plus 1 is just x, so 1 over 16x, I mean it will be minus, and then also minus 1 over, if you think about chain rule here, 16 times 4, 64. And sine 4x. Okay? Okay. And minus, you distribute this one. Minus 1 over 16 sine 2x plus 1 over 48 sine 2x cubed plus c. Let's say any like term. Yeah, those are like terms, so you cancel out. So finally, 1 over 8. 1 over 8 is one of the c constant, so you can kind of omit here. Okay, so I'm going to write negative 1 over 16x minus 1 over 64 sine 4x plus 1 over 48 sine 2x cubed plus c. The reason why you don't have to put 1 over 8 because c is unknown constant, so you can any constant you can include it, that c value. Okay, so your final answer should be this. So this is 1 over 16. Okay. Okay. All right. Yeah, that was all answer. Now let's move on. The next one. Okay, let's do D. Integral. This is a cube, so you can split, like I said before, tangent square x and tangent x dx. That's what you have to do first step. You split it. And then another identity, 1 plus tangent square x equals secant square x. You need to know. So tangent square I can replace by secant square x minus 1. Okay? And then tangent x dx. And then we know, so you can split, you can distribute now. So integral. So next step, secant square. So tangent x secant square x dx minus integral tangent x dx. You can split it by multiplying it out. So now from here, you can use the u sub. dd tangent is a secant square. So let's say u equals tangent x. So du equals secant square x dx. So that will be integral u du minus tangent x, you can switch it to this one. Tangent is a sine over cosine. Okay, like that. So this one is a 1/2 u square, but u was a tangent. Okay, it's like that one. Now minus this portion. So I'm gonna just copy for now. Sine x over cosine x dx. So let's use another u substitution. U is the denominator, cosine x. So du equals negative sine x dx. Then it will be negative 1/2 tangent x square minus denominator is u because cosine was a u. Sine x dx is a negative 1 du. So 1/2 tangent square x plus integral 1 over u is ln. Okay, ln of u. U was a cosine x. So that is your final answer for D. Okay, you can say it that way. Now, next one, let's move on. Now E. Tangent negative 5x and then secant square x dx. Okay, so first of all, what you can do is you can switch this one to positive exponent, which is 1 over tangent to the fifth power x secant square x dx. Now, next step, let's just simplify. hold on, you can use a u. U is a tangent x, right? Then I know this one is a du because derivative tangent is secant square. So du equals secant square x dx. Okay, so it will be integral 1 over u to the 5th power and then du. So that is a power of u to the then -5 du. So you add 1, -4, so -1 over 4 u to the -4 plus c, so -1 over 4. U was a tangent, right? So 1 over tangent x to the 4th power plus c. Okay, you can leave it like that. Okay, now next one is f. Tangent x and secant cube x dx. Okay, so odd one, you split it always. Tangent x, then secant x times secant square x dx. Let's do it that way. Then you can say u is a secant x because du, derivative secant, is a secant x tangent x. Secant x tangent x dx. So that one will be integral u square, and this one will be du. So 1/3 u cube, so secant x cube plus c. So that was a kind of simple. That was f. Now let's move on. Now here g 0 to, this is definite integral, and secant 4th power x dx. Okay, so if it's a 4th power like that, then you split it into square first. So secant square x times secant square x dx. Okay, and then we know secant square is a 1 plus tangent square. So one of them you can change into 1 plus tangent square x and then secant square x dx. So let's say u equals tangent x. Okay, so then du is secant square x dx. So we know this is du. So that will be integral 1 plus u square and then du. Okay, so when you take antiderivative, u plus 1/3 u cube. Okay, you substitute back. So tangent x plus 1/3 tangent x cube between 0 to pi over 4. Since I substitute back, so you don't have to change that period. Still 0 to pi over 4. So when you plug it in, tangent pi over 4, tangent 45 degrees is 1. So 1 plus 1/3. Okay, minus tangent 0 is a 0, so it will be 0. So answer is a 4/3. Okay, that's your final answer. Okay, next topic is a trig substitution here. So let's do A. Integral 0 to root 2 x squared over square root 4 minus x squared. So it's a little different from u sub. This is we call trig substitution. So you have to recognize using that trig identity, which is let me write down here. Sine square x plus cosine square x equals 1. 1 plus tangent square x equals secant square x. And then 1 plus cotangent square x equals cosecant square x. So this one we use a lot. So it's a very key point you have to memorize. Okay, make sure you memorize that formula. So now, then how are you gonna use this one? So here's what you have to do. Then this A. So let's say u is, okay, no, not u. So x is a 2 sine theta. Okay, that's why we call trig sum. Then dx equals 2 cosine theta d theta. So it will be square root 4. Instead of x, you substitute 2 sine theta. Okay, and then 4 sine square theta, because you're going to square here. And then dx is what? 2 cosine theta d theta. This one's square. So now, integral. So this is basically here 4 minus a 4 sine square theta. When you factor out 4, 1 minus sine square theta, like that, right? Inside the square root. So you can say root 4, you take it out, so 2. And then square root 1 minus sine square theta. 탑은 4 sine square theta times 2 cosine theta d theta. Okay. Now, what is a 1 minus sine square theta? We know that from here, 1 minus sine square theta is cosine square theta, right? So this is on here cosine square theta. Square root cosine square theta is a cosine theta. So this one 2 cancel out. So cosine theta, 4 sine square theta, and cosine theta d theta. And cosine theta also cancels out. So 4, you have a sine square theta d theta, but power reducing formula, so 1 minus cosine 2 theta over 2 d theta. Okay, so you use also power reducing formula. So there will be this one cancel. So 2, 1 minus cosine 2 theta d theta. So it will be 2 theta minus just sine 2 theta plus c, right? Okay, so when you take antiderivative of cosine 2 theta, negative cosine 2 theta, it will be just negative sine 2 theta. Okay. All right. Now here, then what was our theta here? So from here, so you see that x was 2 sine theta. So sine theta x over 2. So you can put this one as 2. Theta is inverse sine of x over 2 minus. What is the sine to theta? So look at the triangle. Let's say this one theta, right? And then sine is a so cot, so opposite over hypotenuse. And this side is using Pythagorean theorem, 4 minus x squared. So you can say cosine theta is ca adjacent over hypotenuse. So root 4 minus x squared over 2. Okay. So sine to theta, okay? So that's a 2 sine theta cosine theta. Double angle formula. So your final answer, 2, this one keep it, x over 2 minus 2. Sine theta was x over 2. Cosine theta, root 4 minus x squared over 2 plus c. So one of the two cancel out. Your final answer, 2 inverse sine x over 2 minus x root 4 minus x squared over 2 plus c. So that's your final answer for the A, right? Hold on, A was actually definite integral. So what I'm gonna do is start from 0 to root 2. So here, instead of putting c, so 0 to root 2. So 0 to root 2, okay? At the end, you put it there. Yeah, 0 to root 2. So when you plug in, so 2 inverse sine of root 2 over 2 minus root 2 square root 4 minus root 2 square is a 2 over 2. Okay. When you put 0 minus inverse sign 0 is a 0. So this one gone when you put 0. And also when you put 0 here is gone. So we don't have to worry about it. This one 0. So here 2, what is the inverse sign of root 2 over 2? That's a pi over 4. No. Yeah, pi over 4 minus root 2 times root 2 is a 2. So 2 over 2, which is 1. So pi over 2 minus 1 will be your final answer for that problem. It's pretty long. Okay, so this definite integral, so you have to plug it in. Okay, now next one. So make sure you draw a triangle and then you can find out other trick in terms of x. B, so integral square root 36 minus x squared dx. So what I'm gonna do, so let's say x is this time 6. I know 6 times 6 is a 36. And then sine theta. Okay? Let's use a trig substitution. So then dx is what? 6 cosine theta d theta. So that becomes square root 36 minus that one square, so 36 sine square theta, and dx 6 cosine theta d theta. Okay? So root 36 is a 6, you can take it out. And then 1 minus sine square theta times 6 cosine theta d theta. 1 minus sine square theta is a cosine square theta. Right here, cosine square theta. But square root of that is just cosine theta. So 36 integral cosine x times cosine x is cosine square theta d theta up to here. Okay? Because that one is a cosine theta. So that becomes power reducing formula again, 36 integral 1 minus 1 plus cosine 2 theta over 2 d theta. So 18 when you take out 1/2. This one is not definite integral. So theta plus 1/2 sine 2 theta. Okay, plus c. So your final answer 18 theta plus 9 sine 2 theta plus c. But you have to have in terms of x, not theta, in terms of theta. So here, sine theta is x over 6. So you draw a triangle again. So this one theta. So x over 6 is sine. So using Pythagorean theorem here, root 36 minus x squared. So 18 inverse sine x over 6, that is a theta, plus sine 2 theta is double angle formula, so 2 sine theta cosine theta. So 18 sine theta cosine theta plus c. So your final answer 18 inverse sine x over 6 plus 18 sine theta was x over 6. Cosine theta is root 36 minus x squared over 6 plus c. So your very final answer 18 sine inverse sine of x over 6 plus this 6 times 6 is 36. So 36 divided by 18, 2. So 2, and here x root 36 minus x squared plus c. So that will be your final answer for b value. Okay, it looks kind of complicated, but that's how you're gonna get the answer. Now let's move on. Now let's do c. c is integral 1 over x squared root x squared plus 9 dx. Okay, so what substitution you're gonna do? So I'm gonna use a trig sub again. Let's say my x equals 3 tangent theta. Okay, so then dx equals 3 tangent, derivative tangent is a secant square theta d theta. So that equation will be integral 1 over it'll be then 9 tangent square theta and square root when you take out 9 tangent square theta plus 1 here, and dx is a 3 secant square theta d theta. Okay, so that becomes so this is a 3 here, root 9. 3 times 9 is a 27, so you can take out 27 integral so 3 secant square theta d theta, and then tangent square theta, and 1 plus tangent square is secant square, so square root secant square is a secant theta. So one of the secant theta cancel out, and this one cancel out, so you end up with a 1 over 9 integral. You have only one secant theta and tangent square theta d theta. Okay, you got it up to here. Now, then next step, let's change into sine and cosine. Usually, if you cannot use any identity, then use a sine and cosine only. So 1 over 9, secant is 1 over cosine theta. Okay, and then times, you can say tangent is a sine square over cosine square, but 1 over tangent square is then cosine square theta over sine square theta d theta. So one of the cosine cancel out, 1 over 9 cosine theta, and the denominator sine square theta d theta. So let's say u sub u equals sine theta, then du equals cosine theta d theta. 1 over 9 integral, then u square on the denominator, the numerator is just du. So 1 over 9, this one u to the negative 2 du. So use power rule, you add 1, so negative 1. So negative 1 over 9 u to the negative 1 plus c. This is a indefinite integral. Now you plug back twice, negative 1 over 9, 1 over u was a sine theta plus c. Now you have to make it in terms of x, right? So then tangent theta x over 3, right, from here. So so you draw triangle theta x over 3. So this one hypotenuse x squared plus 9. So we know sine theta is x over root x squared plus 9. So when you substitute back, negative 1 over 9, 1 over sine is, then you flip that sign. So root x squared plus 9 over x plus c. So that will be your final answer. Okay, that's how you're going to get it. All right, let's move on. It's pretty long. Now next one, D. Integral 1 over square root 16 plus 4x squared dx. Okay, so what is my u here? I mean, not u. What is my x here? So you can say 4x. No, 2x is a. So let's put it this way. When you factor out 1 over 4, right? Okay, maybe I have to do step by step. So then you can do 1 over root 16 and then 1 plus 4. Actually, you can take out 4, not 16. So when you take out the 1 plus x squared. Okay, you can take out the 16. Yeah, you can take out 16. Then 1 plus 4x squared over 16, like that. And dx. So then 1 over 4 integral 1 over square root 1 plus, you can say this one 4 out of 16. So that's 1 out of 4. So x over 2 square dx. Okay. So now what I'm going to do, I try to use 1 plus tangent square equals secant square. So x over 2 equals tangent theta. Let's do this one. Trig sub. Then 1/2 dx equals tangent is a secant square theta d theta. So that becomes 1 out of 4 integral 1 over square root 1 plus x over 2 is a tangent square theta. And dx is a 2 secant square theta d theta. Okay? So this one cancel. 2. 1 out of 2 integral 1 over 1 plus tangent square is secant square. So this is a secant square theta. But square root is just 1 secant theta times secant square theta d theta. So one of them cancel out. So 1/2 you have secant theta d theta. Okay, so you got it up to here. Now this is a formula you gotta memorize. So 1/2 antiderivative of secant is ln secant theta plus tangent theta. Okay, and plus c. Now, so this one you have to memorize. Okay, that becomes this. Now, next step, using that, using triangle. So theta, tangent theta is x over 2. So this one, x squared plus 4. So you can say 1/2 ln of secant theta. Secant is 1 over cosine. So cosine is 2 over that. So root x squared plus 4 over 2. That's the secant theta in this triangle. Plus tangent theta is x over 2 plus c. Okay, that will be your final answer. Okay, so that was a D. Now let's move on. E, root x squared minus 4 over x dx. So how are you going to do that? What you can do is, let's say x is then 2 secant theta. Then dx equals 2. dt secant is a secant tangent. Secant theta, tangent theta, d theta. So that becomes integral root 4 secant squared theta minus 4. Once you substitute 2 secant theta into x. And this one, 2 secant theta, and dx is a 2 secant theta, tangent theta, d theta. So 2 secant theta cancel. And here, when you take out root 4 outside, so which is a 2 basically, and root secant squared minus 1 times tangent theta, d theta. And then we know 1 plus tangent square is a secant square. Let me write down here. 1 plus tangent square theta is a secant square. We already talked about it earlier. Secant square minus 1 is tangent. So that is a 2. So square root tangent square is just tangent. So this one tangent theta times the tangent theta d theta. Okay. So far you got up to here. So you can say 2 tangent square. Tangent square is a secant square minus 1. Okay. The reason why you change it now, you can say 2 integral secant square theta d theta minus 2 1 d theta. You can separate it. So integral secant square is tangent. So 2 tangent theta minus 2 theta plus c. Now what was a theta here? So x over 2 is a secant theta. So cosine theta, secant is 1 over cosine. So cosine theta you flip 2 over x. So draw triangle. So 2 over x, like that, cosine. So this one, x squared minus 4. So 2 tangent theta is a root x squared minus 4 over 2 minus 2. So theta is a inverse secant, x over 2 plus c, and this one cancel. So final answer, root x squared minus 4 minus 2 inverse secant x over 2 plus c. Okay, that's your final answer. Now, let's move on. Now F, the last one in this unit here. Last one. So which is F 1 over x squared minus 25 3 half. Okay, I'm gonna do that. So this one, let's put x equals 5 secant theta, like that. So then dx is 5, secant is secant theta, tangent theta. So it will be 1 over x squared is 25 secant squared theta minus 25 3 half, instead of dx 5 secant theta tangent theta d theta. So this one inside 25 and secant squared theta minus 1, and the secant squared theta minus 1 is a tangent squared theta, so 25 tangent squared theta. So that means 5 tangent theta square. So what happened is, inside the parenthesis 1 over, you can say 5 tangent theta square to the power of 3 half times 5 secant theta tangent theta d theta. Okay, and then x to m to the n, you multiply x to m times n. Remember that rule. So then when you multiply, these two cancel. So 1 over 5 tangent theta cube 5 secant theta tangent theta d theta. So one of the 5 tangent theta cancel out. So then you have 5 tangent theta square and then secant theta d theta. Now, so keep going. So that's a 1 over 25, you can take it out. And this one, 1 over tangent squared theta secant theta d theta. Okay. Now, what is the next step? Then you can change into sine and cosine only. So 1 over 25, tangent is sine over cosine. So this one is 1 over tangent, so cosine squared theta over sine squared theta times secant is 1 over cosine theta d theta. So one of the cosine cancel out. 1 over 25 integral. Then you can say cosine theta over sine squared theta d theta. Okay, so from there, let's see. Let's say u is a sine theta, then du equals cosine theta d theta. So 1 over 25, this denominator u square, and this one du. So just power of. So 1 over 25, u to the negative 2 du. So 1 over 25, negative u to the negative 1, so negative 1 over u. Okay. So negative 1 over 25, u was a sine theta plus c. Now, what's the sine theta here? So when you go up here, it's coming from here. Secant theta is x over 5. So cosine theta is a 5 over x. So in the triangle, so 5 over x. And here, then x squared minus 25. So negative 1 over 25. Sine is root x squared minus 25 over x, but you can put x on the top, plus c. So that's your final answer. Okay? All right, so I think I finished that one. So that's it for this video.